Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
Man, that's tough. And it has been like that, what you said, as far as you can
remember.
Mm-hmm. How do you think that like impacted you as far as like who you are as a person, or how you think, maybe how you came up as a teenager?
Definitely. Growing up, I was definitely looking for their love in other people that I didn't get from my dad. And I did have my grandfather. My grandfather was my like father figure. He died in 2017 and it took a big chunk of me. But I think the part that hurt the worst was not really knowing how to date. Like my mom was able to teach me a little bit, like, you know, get dressed up. I'm gonna take you on a date. I'm gonna open the door for you so I can teach you how a man is supposed to treat you. But she could only do that up until a certain point because she's a woman. My dad was absent during that time. So a lot of the things I feel like my dad could have taught me, I missed out on it. Like how a man should really treat you and things of that nature. And instead of me getting that from my dad, I ended up getting that from the world and having to learn it the harder way. Then my dad just telling me, you know, do this or do that, because that's how I learn. If you tell me not to go touch the stove, I'm not going to touch it because I believe what you tell me. But I had to go and touch the stove in order to learn because you weren't there to tell me not to do it.
I see. Wow. And this kind of goes back to the psychological impact and how deep it runs when the father is not in the home. You know, but this is definitely something that I'm being educated right now from a woman's perspective, because I'm a man, and I know that for me personally, like I didn't grow up with a dad, and it was very weird for me, Eriya, because my dad was actually murdered August of last year, and it was the strangest thing in the world because I didn't really know him. I met him before. I met him for the first time when I was 16. And it was like the most he did for me was like literally like he got out of prison. He like got on food stamps and he would like take me grocery shopping like once a month. And that meant the world to me. Mm-hmm. Like that was everything to me because I'm like, yo, I got a dad. Like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like this is different because I've always only had my mom. And so a question that I always get is, or I've gotten many times, is that what do I think, or how do I think not having a dad in my life impacted me? But what people will do, or I think the mistake people will make, is they'll look at my life and look at like, oh, you're a public speaker and you're in college and you're in grad school and you have a podcast and you're doing these things and you've never went to jail and stuff. And it's like, oh, you turned out fine. You're good.
But that's not the scenario for everybody.
Right. And it's like, no, you're not understanding. You looking at what I am right now, but imagine what I could have been with a father. Mm-hmm. Having that father in the home, I went to get where I am right now. I had to learn, like, touch that stove a lot of times. Yeah, it didn't result in me going to jail. Yeah, it didn't result in me, you know, facing criminal charges and things like that. But at the same time, man, the route I had to take to get here could have been avoided if I had a dad in the home and I was shown those things. But again, this is such a great educational topic for me, because I don't normally think, and I'm guilty of this, when I think of father, I don't automatically think father-daughter. Mm-hmm. I think father-son, you know? So I don't really think what the lack of a father being in the home, how it would impact the daughter. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you say it impacted the way you went about relationships?
Definitely. It definitely made a strain on my mother, on the relationship that I had with my mom. My mom is my biggest fan. She's my biggest cheerleader. I love her to death. But like growing up, I didn't understand the amount of stress and the depression that she was under. Like, I was just looking at it from my point of view. And so we're in this household with my dad and y'all are not getting along. That's bleeding on us. We're sad. We're not happy and nobody is moving. You know, nobody is saying, okay, we're just going to get a divorce. Y'all are asking me my opinion. I'm giving you my opinion, but nobody is moving. So in result, that made me not like my mom in a little bit. And we had to grow from that. Like, I didn't have any respect for her, because how can you tell me to be a respectful woman? How can you tell me to love myself and don't let people do these things to me? And you're going through that right now. It just made me not respect her as a woman, in a sense. And I had to learn that when I got in a relationship, and it was like, everybody's like, well, you need to leave because it's not beneficial to you. You're sad, you're depressed, you're thinking about not wanting to be here anymore, all of those things. And I felt like it was that moment where you had to sit in a situation because, to be honest, I was judging my mom and I didn't know anything that she was going through. Like, I knew what I was going through in the situation, but you're his wife. So I know that it was harder for you, and I couldn't understand that until I was sitting in it with a relationship that I was in. And I think it took me to like college to be like, okay, I love my mama. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you're all that I have here. Like, I'm wrong. And that was that our relationship has been like A1 since.